yesterday, Yo-Yo, I had a great idea. I said the best way, rather than arguing about politics, is we should all move to Wisconsin,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Because
Wisconsin.
I said it's about 1,000 people in Wisconsin
right.
who are going to decide on the presidential election, and they haven't even given thought to this impeachment or anything. They have no idea who they're going to vote for.
Are they even in America?
I don't even know. They're like doing their own thing on the farm out there in Wisconsin. They don't even know there's an impeachment happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Wisconsin, Ohio, Florida, perhaps Pennsylvania, perhaps Michigan. Those are the states. Those 4 or 5 states decide the entire presidential election.
Wow.
Your vote, Yo-Yo, in New York doesn't mean anything because whoever the Democrat is going to win New York.
Yeah.
Your parents' votes out in California
doesn't mean
absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a Democrat who wins California. And whoever happens to be living in Texas right now, your vote doesn't mean anything either because it's going to be a Republican.
Wow.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So it's really crucial. Every vote. So I had this idea yesterday, if anybody watched. I said, instead of us spending all this time and effort, arguing about politics, I think we should just all move to Wisconsin.
Right.
All right? And then vote Democrat, and then we got it, right?
There you go.
All right? And I said, instead of Bloomberg spending $100 million on his campaign, he should give everybody a voucher for $10,000 to move to Wisconsin,
Sheesh.
and he would win.
That's true.
Right?
This is true.
You should give everybody a $10,000 voucher, move to Wisconsin. He doesn't have to buy any commercials.
Right.
So what happened today? Okay, a Wisconsin judge, it happened Friday. A Wisconsin judge ordered 234,000 voter registrations tossed because they did not respond to a mailer within 30 days.
Oh, wow.
Now, 3 years ago, as I said, Donald Trump won Wisconsin by 23,000 votes. So this state, Wisconsin, this matters. And now a Wisconsin judge, some guy, one human being, just discounted 250,000 people's votes.
Right.
On Friday, Wisconsin Judge Paul Malloy. This is more important than the impeachment, and this doesn't get any news, but this is like vital to our election in 2020. On Friday, Wisconsin Judge Paul Malloy ordered that the registration of up to 234,000 voters be tossed out because they have moved. And this is a victory for the Republicans, the conservatives, and it could make it much more difficult for people to vote next year.
Right.
So most of these people, it is believed that most of these people are Democrat. They are not conservative. The judge sided with 3 voters represented by a conservative law firm who argued that the State Elections Commission should have immediately deactivated any of the roughly 234,000 voters who did not respond to a letter by October. And this is, by the way, what the Republicans do everywhere, okay? Not just in Wisconsin, because if you go vote by vote, Democrats outnumber Republicans.
Right.
Liberals outnumber conservatives. Vote by vote.
Yeah.
And they discredit voters, and they make the voting pool smaller on purpose so that they could win elections.
Right.
It's the way they do it.
Yeah.
It's a fact. All right?
How's that legal, though?
So the judge denied a request by the Elections Commission's attorney to put his decision on hold. Wisconsin Democrats don't see the decision as just following housekeeping rules when it comes to voter rolls. They believe conservatives are looking for ways to remove Democratic voters, just like I said. Now, the governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, who's a Democrat, he was elected by less than 30,000 votes last year. So he tweeted, this move pushed by Republicans to remove 200,000 Wisconsinites from the voter rolls is just another attempt at overriding the will of the people and stifling the democratic process. Now, I assume that this will be appealed. Okay, I can't imagine that this is the last word. But really, when it comes, votes, specific individual votes in certain states really matter, and specific individual votes in other states don't mean goat poop.
Right.
You know, it don't mean nothing. All right? But this matters. It hasn't even been in the top of the news.
Right.
This is what changes elections, and people don't pay attention to it. Meanwhile, Mitch McConnell, because we got to talk about the orange man, Donald Trump, right? He has rejected Chuck Schumer's call for President Trump's witnesses who witnessed his telephone calls to come and testify. So who are his witnesses? The National Security Advisor, John Bolton, the acting White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, Robert Blair, who is Mulvaney's right-hand man, and budget official Michael Duffy. All of those people have firsthand knowledge of exactly what Trump was doing with Ukraine. He is being impeached for abuse of power and for stifling or obstructing Congress from investigating it. He has stopped these 4 people from testifying. These 4 people have direct knowledge of what Trump did, and he's stopping it. Schumer says they should come testify at the Senate trial, and Mitch McConnell says absolutely not. He later told reporters, and by the way, you know, the liberal news makes this a big deal because they're comparing it to a criminal trial or a civil trial. But this is not a criminal or civil trial. This is a political trial.
Right.
Okay? And McConnell has every right not to be an impartial juror because he's a Republican. Okay? But he said to reporters, I'm not an impartial juror. This is a political process. There is not anything judicial about it. Impeachment is a political decision. The House made a partisan political decision to impeach. I would anticipate we will have a largely partisan outcome in the Senate. I'm not impartial about it at all. In this particular case, he is absolutely right. It's not a criminal trial. Donald Trump's not up for a crime. He's up for losing his job. Okay, once he's out of office, then they could charge him with crimes.
Can sue it.
Okay, but right now he's just up for, you're getting kicked out of office.
Right.
That's a political decision. And the senators are going to vote based on the will of their particular voters and how close their election is. Okay, if you're a senator, for example, if you're a senator who may be retiring, and there's a few Republican senators who are retiring, you don't care what the voters think. You're going to vote your conscience. You're going to vote what's best for America. If you're a senator who just got elected and your election's not for 6 more years, you probably don't really care much about what the voters think. If you're a guy like Mitch McConnell, who's up for election, he's the majority leader, up for election in 2020, you care very much what the voters think because you want your job. And the last thing you would do as a Republican in a Republican stronghold is go against your president. So it's very much a political trial. It is not, an impeachment is all of them. Clinton, Nixon, Andrew Johnson, the 4 of them, they were all political trials. They're not criminal trials. Now, Trump sent a scathing letter to Nancy Pelosi. He compared this to the Salem witch trials.
Oh, God.
Okay. He wrote on White House letterhead, and it memorializes Trump's defense on the eve of his expected impeachment. The House is expected to approve the articles of impeachment tomorrow. Trump rehashed his usual arguments against impeachment, including the Democrats are seeking revenge over their 2016 loss, and that his call with the Ukrainian president was perfect. He wrote, "There is nothing I would rather do than stop referring to your party as the do-nothing Democrats. Unfortunately, I don't know that you will ever give me a chance to do so." He also compared this trial to the Salem witch trials. To the Salem witch trials, he said more due process was afforded to those accused in the Salem witch trials. Now, I was not around. Okay, I was not around during the Salem witch trials. Okay, it was a little before my time, even though I claim I have senior moments. And however, my recollection of history of the Salem witch trials is that there were a lot of innocent women who got burned at the stake and accused of being a witch. I would believe, Donald Trump, that there is more evidence that you abused your power than there were that these women
were actual witches. Yes, I agree.
That is my belief.
I agree.
There's a lot of pro-impeachment protests. I was wondering when this was going to happen. And apparently it's happening tonight. There's a nationwide rally called No One is Above the Law. It's being organized by the activist group Move On, and they plan on protesting in favor of Trump's impeachment all over in many cities. They're going to take place at 5:30 p.m., which is right now a little 6 o'clock here in New York time, at places like Times Square in New York, and at 5:30 p.m. at Los Angeles City Hall, amongst other places. Rick Gates, more Trump news. As I turn the card, it's just Trump, 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 Trump.
Hey,
doesn't end.
That's the star.
It doesn't end. Trump, Trump, Trump. Can we have Trump? We were supposed to have Trumpless Thursdays, right?
Yes.
Or is it Trumpless Tuesdays? We have Hump Day Wednesday, Friday Fridays. Was it supposed to be Trumpless Tuesdays or Trumpless Thursdays?
Trumpless Tuesdays, but
it was supposed to be Trumpless Tuesdays.
We got to be consistent with it, right?
We're in impeachment.
We have to talk about him now.
Can we have a production meeting, Yo-Yo?
Yes.
Can we change Trumpless Tuesdays to Trumpless Thursdays?
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm good with that.
You're good with that?
I'm good with that.
Squad, are you good with Trumpless Thursdays?
Yes.
Nothing about Trump. Don't mention that guy's name. He's going to drain the swamp. How many of his people went to jail already?
Mm-hmm.
Rick Gates, former assistant campaign aide to Donald Trump, he cooperated with authorities. He's getting 3 years probation, and he's going to go to jail for 45 days. He pled guilty to one offense, and it's weekends. He's doing like a weekend at Bernie's in jail.
What?
Yeah, 2 weekends at Bernie's. Number 2, Gates was sentenced to 45 days in jail.
Oh.
Not 45 days in jail, 45 weekend days in jail. So he goes every weekend until for 45 weekend days, which I guess is about half a year. Okay, 3 years probation, and it was all for lying to investigators.
This is the thing. They need to give somebody some real jail time to really scare the panties off these men.
Manafort got some real jail time.
Right.
Papadopoulos got I think a couple months. That's nothing, right?
It's nothing.
Right?
It's nothing.
Nothing, right?
Nah.
Young black kid with
what?
With some crack. What, like a little crack? What does he get?
Come on now.
3 years, right? 3 to 6.
Easy.
Right? Look at Bullet 8. I put this down already. It was reported today that Manafort, he was hospitalized for a cardiac event. Manafort, which we're now changing the subject, was President Trump's campaign advisor.
Right.
Who cares? Let him go.
Right.
All right. Meanwhile, Whoopi Goldberg.
Hey.
Did you see this?
Yes, that's my auntie.
Okay, Whoopi Goldberg. That's your auntie?
Yeah, well, in my head. I mean, she gave me this ring.
What ring?
This Cartier ring.
Whoopi Goldberg gave you a Cartier ring?
Yeah.
Did she propose to you?
No, it was her brother's.
It was her brother's?
Yeah, see, guys?
Why did Whoopi Goldberg give you this Cartier ring?
I used to go to her house all the time.
What?
In Jersey.
Why?
Because I was friends with Raven Simone, so we always went to check on her. She's a great person. I love Whoopi.
Listen, dropping names all over the place, aren't we?
I mean,
dropping names all
me.
over the place. So meanwhile, apparently there was a tiff.
Yeah.
On a show I never watch.
The View.
But it's a big deal.
Yes.
Or at least the news is making a big deal. Or at least Whoopi's publicists are making a big deal to get people to watch The View. Yeah. I think, Yo-Yo, me and you should have a tiff.
Let's do it.
And then let's publicize it and get people to watch our show.
I'm okay with it.
What should we tiff about?
We gotta think about it.
We gotta think about it.
Because we
gotta make it look like it's natural.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Oh, you calling me Jonathan and me calling you Bradley.
Yo, man, don't call me Bradley.
Oh, don't call me Jonathan.
You want to start a fight?
Let's do it.
Let's go to commercial. We don't have a commercial.
Right. We gotta work on it.
Yeah, we gotta work on it. I can't be mad at you. You're too nice of a guy, man.
And you're too great of a boss.
I try to be mad at him. I can't. All right, so apparently Whoopi and Meghan McCain, they got into a fight. Yeah. They had it out. Meghan McCain got in her
feelings.
Got her feelings hurt. She goes, girl, please stop talking.
That's what Whoopi said.
It says here, Meghan said that.
Nah, Whoopi said that too.
Whoopi said that.
Yeah.
I said, I can't believe Meghan talks like that.
Nah, she didn't.
She wouldn't talk like that, right?
No.
All right, so Whoopi says, girl, please stop talking. And Meghan said, okay, I won't talk for the rest of the show.
Like a brat. Like a little brat.
Like a little baby, right?
You're a professional reporter.
What were they even fighting about? Let's watch a clip and see what they're fighting about. I don't even know. Let's find out.
Girl, please stop talking. Please stop talking right now. Because you know what? What's happening? Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
I won't talk the rest of the show. No problem.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
So basically, one of the
what happened? Do you watch this thing?
I don't.
Okay.
No, but I have to know about current events and Now,
Stargirl says she watches. She said Meghan's always disrespectful.
Exactly. So that's basically what it's all about. So one of the hosts was talking about how someone like Bill Clinton got, basically almost impeached or whatever because of messing with a girl or whatever, and Trump has used governments, other countries to help his campaign, and has broken the law like blatantly, and he's still in office. So she doesn't understand how that could be possible. And then that's when Meghan McCain, she was on his side, obviously, and she wasn't letting her other co-hosts speak. So then Whoopi's job is to be the moderator, and she has to say, okay, you guys, let's calm down. You could speak now, you can speak. And like Meghan was real disrespectful. She was just like, like a little kid. She was pouting. She was like, she's basically a brat. So that's when Whoopi was like,
and by the way,
down.
I'm going to give you the answer for this. I can tell you the answer in 3 sentences.
Go ahead.
Okay? To why, what happened to Bill Clinton and what Donald Trump did, and there's no question Bill Clinton, okay, everyone says he got impeached for having an extramarital affair. He got impeached for lying under oath about an extramarital affair. And then he got acquitted in the Senate. And basically there was enough senators to say what he did was not a big enough crime to warrant removing him from office.
Right.
But he never put his own self-interests above the United States. He put his self-interest above his marriage to his wife.
Right.
Okay, Hillary Clinton. Okay, he was thinking with his little head instead of his big head. That is absolutely true. He lied about it under oath, but he never put the interest, his little head or big head, was never put his interest ahead of the United States of America. Now, what happened here, it dawned on me yesterday, and I even had a conversation about it with Jilly. I saw an interview with Carly Fiorina. Now, if you saw Carly Fiorina, she used to be the CEO of Hewlett-Packard, and she ran against Donald Trump for president. And if you recall, Donald Trump had an insult for everybody he ran against, and his insult for Carly Fiorina was, "Look at that horse face."
Yeah, that was crazy.
How could you vote for this horse face?
Right.
So we haven't heard from Carly Fiorina. Basically, Donald Trump called her horse face, and she fell off. Nobody voted for her. Poor Carly, and we haven't heard from her since.
Right.
So now she had an interview, and she says, "I believe President Trump should be impeached by the House of Representatives because what he did was put his self-interests ahead of the United States of America.
Right.
Yet I don't think he should be removed from office." And then in a poll I saw that was came out about 12 hours earlier, 54% of Americans believe Donald Trump should be impeached by the House of Representatives.
Right.
Only 50% believe he should be removed from office. There's 4% of people who will say he did something wrong.
That's crazy.
But I don't want him, I still want him to be the president.
It's crazy.
So what is that? What is it about? What's going on? And what's going on is this. Just like Donald Trump puts his interests above country, everybody is putting their self-interests above country as well.
Right.
Okay? So we don't care whether he broke the law. We don't care whether he broke the Constitution. He can do whatever the heck he wants as long as he's making my life better.
Right.
Okay? And that is why Donald Trump, whether it's a wealthy person who says, "I don't care what he does, he's cut my taxes," or it's a Christian conservative who says, "I don't care what he does, he packed the courts with conservative judges who are going to outlaw abortion."
Right.
Or it's a gun-toting, guy from somewhere who says, "I don't care what he does, I'm allowed to have my 50 rifles still."
Right.
Because if a Democrat comes, I won't have my rifles. Or if a Democrat comes, I'm going to pay more in taxes. Or if a Democrat comes, they're going to make abortion legal. I don't want to kill those babies. I'm waiting for the babies to be born and get shot by somebody.
Right.
Then once they're alive, they can get killed. That's perfectly fine. But we don't kill them while they're in the womb.
Right.
Which is quite hypocritical. But
Yeah,
that's basically what
absolutely.
they feel. So, I mean, not that they say go around killing babies, but there's a lot of gun violence. So people are voting people are allowing Trump to break the law for their own self-interest.
Right.
And that is why Donald Trump is going to be in office, despite the fact that he tried to bribe the president of Ukraine to give him dirt on Joe Biden to allow him to win the election in 2020, and then refused to cooperate and obstructed the investigation with Congress. He's guilty on both.
It's crazy.
So that's what's going on. In more pumpkin news, guess which person he did not win Time Man of the Year, but he won Fibber of the Year. Guess who it is? It's a lie from President Donald Trump has been crowned the Lie of the Year.
Are you serious?
For a historic third time. It has never happened before in the history of the world that somebody has won Lie of the Year 3 years in a row. PolitiFact, a nonprofit U.S. political fact-checking site, announced yesterday that the award for 2019, again, 3 times is a charm, goes to Donald Trump's claim that the anonymous whistleblower reported his July 25th call with the Ukrainian leader, Zelensky, almost completely wrong. Trump's conduct and requests on that call are now the heart of the impeachment inquiry. So he has won Lie of the Year. He has beat out Pinocchio, who came in second, and character from Jim Carrey's Liar Liar, who came in third. Guess what? Oh, I think I told you this, so it's not a good game for you.
Let's try it again.
All right, or maybe I didn't tell you. Guess what? If song finally hit #1 this week on the Billboard charts, and it now is considered the song that took the longest ever to hit #1 on the Billboard charts.
It has to be the only #1 song that everybody plays every year, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas.
That's right. It was originally released in 1994.
That is crazy.
Okay, never hit #1.
Wow, that's insane to me.
It never hit #1. It was her first Christmas album. She was 24 years old when she recorded it. It sold more than 15 million copies.
Wow.
Never hits #1. Comes close every Christmas, but for the first time since 1994, has finally hit #1 this year, and it is now took the longest time ever from the release to hit #1. It beat out the Chipmunk song by the Chipmunks. You've heard that Chipmunk song, right? Yep. Yeah. Now, Mariah, this is. I don't know what that was, but is that what the Chipmunks?
No, I guess so. Alvin is back there
maybe.
too.
So it is now Mariah Carey's 19th #1 song.
Oh, dope.
She is now in second place, behind who? With the most #1 songs ever.
Ooh, is it Michael Jackson?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. The Beatles.
The Beatles with 20.
And
here's a fun fact: who's in third? It's also not Michael Jackson.
Is it an old,
I'm not telling you who's in third. Think about who has had a lot of #1s.
Whitney Houston.
Close, but no.
I don't know.
Riri.
Ooh, really?
Yes,
my wife.
Rihanna, yes, with 14.
Dang, yeah.
Yes.
Riri's
And finally, for Christmas, besides All I Want Is You, you want some fruitcake too, right?
I don't like fruitcake.
But some families pass down some jewelry. Some families pass down watches, even recipes. But a Michigan family has its own heirloom, Jonathan.
Ew, what?
A 141-year-old fruitcake
How?
that they pass down from generation to generation.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it says, it's a great thing, says Julie Ruttinger, the great-great-granddaughter of Fidela Ford, who baked the cake in 1878. It's a tradition, it's a legacy. It was initially preserved in honor of Ford. She established a tradition of baking the cake and letting it age for a year before serving it for the holidays. But she died right before the cake could be eaten.
What?
Yes, in 1878. And by the time the holidays arrived, the family considered her work a legacy and no longer a food. Until 2013's death, the cake was in the care of Morgan Ford, who was Fidela Ford's great-grandson. He took care of it by the day. He took care of it by the day he left the earth. The fruitcake meant everything to him. He had stored it in an antique glass dish on the top shelf of a china cabinet in his Michigan home, which is where it remained. The Guinness World Records, they still have not come to us for speed round, but they do not have an entry for the oldest fruitcake. But as for cakes in general, the Ford fruitcake is nowhere near the oldest, according to the Daily News of Detroit. That honor goes to a 4,176-year-old cake that was found in an Egyptian tomb. That is according to the Guinness Book of World Records. It's on display in a food museum in Switzerland. Now, during this 93 years that Morgan Ford held on to this family fruitcake, he showed it off at church, family gatherings, and shared stories about the history of the fruitcake. You know, in 1929, it got a little moldier.
That's disgusting.
What kind of story are you going to tell about this fruitcake? Do you know how smelly and moldy
Right,
that fruitcake's
that's what I'm
got to
saying.
be?
Like, is it not smelly and moldy? Like,
That's what I would think.
I'm good.
I don't think I'm going to go over to their family house for
Ever.
fruitcake.
Ever.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.